We are here on the floor of NAB 2022. Thank you so much for joining us in the Thomson Broadcast studio, and welcome to our very next guest, the CEO of Triveni Digital. We have Mark Simpson joining us. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Good to be here.
And NAB is back, and we were just talking about the great turnout this year.
Yeah. Surprising in a way, maybe not surprising, but not necessarily something we counted on, right? In coming to the first NAB in 3 years, we knew we had to be here as a vendor. We didn't know if our customers felt the same way. Fortunately, most of them seem to have. We've had a lot of great interactions already. Very vibrant show. ATSC 3 is one of our core areas of focus, and the momentum keeps building, it seems, here. The market momentum is very good and exciting. We're back at it.
I know, it really is exciting, and ATSC 3 really, it's been a buzz. It's been a popular buzzword around NAB this year, and everybody's talking about it.
I think for good reason. It is the future of the over-the-air broadcast industry in the U.S. for sure. Part of what's exciting about it is beyond the U.S.,
yes.
Right? I mean, Jamaica is already adopting ATSC 3. We have one station on the air already in Jamaica. We see India, we see Brazil starting to make steps towards the eventual deployment for a lot of this technology. Very encouraging for the standard and, frankly, the benefits that will eventually be brought to customers because of it. So it's a good time.
And speaking of ATSC 3 and all the benefits, Thomson Broadcast and Triveni Digital have shared quite a partnership through the years.
We have. I probably shouldn't do it, but I still will. We try to pronounce it Triveni.
Triveni.
And I don't know how to remember it, but we came up years ago with the cheesy slogan, Triveni by many. That's how you remember it. But anyway, yes, we've worked with Thomson for a while now. Most recently when Abby has come back into, sort of the Thompson brand and established really a set of initiatives for the U.S. And North American markets. Frankly, worldwide, Thomson is doing things. Triveni as a strategy always tries to work with the other ecosystem vendors, because if our customer cares about a solution from somebody else, a lot of times our job is to make that integrated platform work. Integration in terms of writing code, making sure they work together, not necessarily going to the station to put the cables together. That's another kind of integrator. We make things work. That's what Triveni tries to do. And we try to work with the leading vendors out there. What that does is create just a wide variety of choice for the customers. And we like a lot of what we see Thomson doing. I think, frankly, the recent acquisition that's been announced is just amazing. When you say we've worked for Thomson for years, actually in their Gates Air form, we worked with Thomson even back, like the year 2000 when they were Harris Broadcast. So we have deep relationships with this company that I think are good for both sides.
That's incredible. And I'm going to say Triveni over and over again.
You're free to say the by many part also.
Triveni by many.
Just kidding.
But like-minded companies and partnerships, that really is key to these strategic partnerships working, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. And sometimes it is personal relationships matter. Abby's great to work with, frankly. And the Thompson team we found have been good to work with. And I think a lot of what we try to do is solve issues before the customer even sees them, right? We want to make sure our wherever we're deployed together, it should be rock solid, right? There's no finger pointing. We will solve it together. That's important.
And especially during the pandemic, these past 2 years, something that, when you talk about anticipating customer needs, something that a lot of people didn't anticipate is remote learning and how crucial that would be. Triveni and Thomson Broadcast are really tackling that as a new feature.
Yes, remote learning is a big possible deployment reason for data broadcast, which just means using the broadcast airwaves to distribute data widely. So if it's something that many people want, it's most efficient to use data broadcast techniques rather than sort of one-to-one wireless, 5G or something like this. So there's a role for the broadcast infrastructure for the distribution of content. Education is one of the key application areas that people think will be interesting. And I think even though we're still kind of early in that in some sense, there are increasing deployments that are right now being put on the air. So this is happening. With Thomson has an interesting application for, kind of distance learning. Now some of that application has strengths beyond the data broadcast part. It's more for, internet-based or OTT style deployment. Well, that stuff matters as well. But, definitely in the early days of the pandemic, holy cow, where would you go to school? There isn't a place to go. You have to get your content some other way. And that, I think, has driven a lot of the interest. But now that that phase of this is kind of over, there's still a lot of interest for what the benefit of broadcast-based distribution can do for underserved people, who may not get. We're even looking in some, very poor regions of the world. One system we're looking at now, what we're hearing is the main issue is they don't have power. So it's pretty hard to run systems without power. So we're having to look at things like solar-based installations so that the education content receivers can actually work in the community center where they will be located.
Wow.
So it really does transform certain, information ecosystems, and it can really, be a very important thing, in terms of the benefit it has.
Yeah, because technology can really be an equalizer in that way,
Yeah.
right? Because we knew before the pandemic, we knew about the digital divide here in the United States and globally, but the pandemic almost shone a stronger light on that digital divide and really the need that underserved communities and countries have. Especially
Yes.
Education can be transformative, right?
Totally agree. You said it. I don't know what else to say. Yes, I agree with that.
And how does the Triveni and the Thomson Broadcast partnership, how does it enhance broadcast infrastructure and the broadcast sector and continue to grow it?
So that's a specific question with a very broad answer because of a few reasons, but one is Thomson is in very many different areas, right? They have a lot of different products that pertain here. I think one thing that is interesting about the relationship, how we could help each other's business grow through this partnership, is that a lot of the kinds of services and sort of like benefits of ATSC 3 or Next Gen TV, as they're trying to call it now, they will drive the need for reception more broadly. And another way to say it is they will drive the need for things like single frequency networks, technical term, but it just means more and more transmitters will be deployed. Instead of the big tower on the mountain that covers the whole valley, you might fill in some of the gaps, in order to ensure you have robust reception everywhere. Like as cars drive by, if it's sending data to cars, et cetera, et cetera. So the point of that is that a lot of these sort of application ideas that we're helping get birthed and deployed will actually drive a core part of Thomson's business around transmitters. And even just very low power transmitters that might be on the telephone pole to fill in a gap for a few square miles, things like that. So I think the whole distribution infrastructure for content will be changed by ATSC 3, and Thomson will benefit tremendously from that, just in the transmitter part of it. They're also, of course, doing a lot of systems level stuff, applications like the education, distance learning work. So we have a lot of touch points that kind of benefit each other, I think.
That's incredible. A lot on the horizon.
Yes, it's a good time, right.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining us here in the broadcast booth and on the floor of NAB, and we have much more coming up.